How about this? Only traditional women deserve traditional treatment.
I think society and reality is a little bit more nuanced than that. But I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, if you're a man and you have traditional values, then why would you treat a woman that's not traditional with traditional values?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Should be
for
on equal
example, say a woman does OnlyFans, but she wants a guy to pay for first dates. Now, I do actually think that even if a girl does do OnlyFans, there's so many simps out there, and men are so ingrained to behave in this way that they're gonna get it anyways. But if we're just having a analysis of this, I don't think women who do OnlyFans are deserving of the chivalrous treatment because they're engaged in sex work. So we have 3 girls who do OnlyFans here. Do you guys care to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I completely disagree. Just
Completely
because
disagree.
you do OnlyFans doesn't mean that the guy shouldn't pay for the first date. Like, and
Why?
OnlyFans, like, I mean,
I
you
think
don't have
that's
to be
just
having
like
like,
so completely unrelated.
yeah, so
It's
like,
100% related.
so just
I don't-
because
okay.
I do
Well,
OnlyFans means
okay.
we should split the bill? Like, that's not
okay.
right.
I'll answer that.
A man should pay either way.
Yeah.
They should
Even
always
if
pay.
she's a prostitute.
It's
Yeah.
OnlyFans
Still a
isn't
woman.
cross-
Even if she's a
whether, like,
stripper
whatever,
or
yes,
prostitute.
because they're
She's still
a
a
man,
woman.
so that's their job. They pay.
So, but is she a woman?
Well, why are you with her
I
if you
mean-
don't
Hold on,
want
let
to
me
treat her
let me
as a
rephrase.
woman?
So what you're
Exactly.
saying is it's because he's a man. So he should be a
Yes.
gentleman.
Yes.
But who is
Absolutely.
deserving of gentlemanly treatment? Wouldn't you say it's ladies?
Just
Well,
What if
because
she's
you
not a
do OnlyFans
lady?
Doesn't mean you're not a lady.
Yes,
Maybe
if
you
you're
shouldn't
no,
go
no,
out
no,
with
no.
her.
Hold on.
Why are you
Hold
going
on.
out with
If
her?
you're
Yeah.
engaged in sex work, you're not a lady.
Not
Why?
everyone
But
like
wait,
has
says
sex
who?
on OnlyFans.
That
though,
guy
too.
should-
Says the patriarchy right here.
Says tradition.
Says tradition.
Well, that's your opinion.
That
but-
guy-
No,
It's-
no.
no, it's not
Tradition
my-
is not an opinion. It is
Well,
historical
then I wouldn't
fact.
want to be with a man like you.
I wouldn't
and I wouldn't be on
either.
a date with a man
So,
like you.
you
I'd
don't
be-
want a traditional man. That's fine.
Well,
Guess not.
yeah, I guess not. Apparently.
No, they do want traditional men as the
They
thing.
I mean, they say,
they
yeah.
still
People
want
have
traditional men.
mixed opinions of or whatever, traditional, not traditional. Like, you don't have to be like strictly one or the other. Like,
Right, but don't you think doing sex work is pretty far down the road into being non-traditional? Like, it's okay if the girl, like, maybe she has, I'm trying to think of like a slight way
I mean, I've
in which a
never-
woman could be not traditional. Maybe she's a little tatted up, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she has a tattoo.
I've
She has
never
a
even
tattoo
thought to
or-
like base my relationships based on if I'm traditional or if he's traditional or
Right.
whatever.
But so look,
I've
okay.
never even thought of like that, like
Well,
at all.
but you said you would object to a guy not paying for the first date, correct?
Correct.
You want a guy to pay for the first date.
Absolutely.
If the guy on the date said, "Hey, let's split," would there not be a second date?
No, there would not.
What about for you? Do you want guys to pay for first dates?
I'm not
That's
sure.
fine. What do you
I'm
mean you're not sure?
I'm like, maybe I don't know. If he didn't pay for the first date,
Have
would
you
I go on
been
another?
have you been on a
Yeah.
date?
I,
Let's
Wait,
say
I
a
don't
guy.
really know.
Let's say a guy who you fancy.
yeah, I have, and they've always
you-
paid.
Okay. Would you, if the guy, put yourself back into those scenarios? If the waiter comes and he's like, "Hey, 2 checks, please," you wouldn't feel
I'd
a
be a little bit cringed out.
Why?
I'd probably
Why would you be cringed out?
because why would I be on a date with like a broke man? Like, it's gotta
What
be
if he's
You
not-
should be
what
able
if
to
he's not broke?
provide. And like,
If he's
A
not
man
broke,
should be able to provide, and a
Yes.
woman shouldn't be a sex worker.
Agreed.
I'm not having
Okay,
sex
well then
on
I guess we're not a
OnlyFans.
perfect match.
No, but sex worker is a sort of all-encompassing sort of term here.
For
How about
you're
this?
selling your sexuality, essentially.
You're digital prostitutes.
Selling sex.
Look,
I don't
okay, fine.
have
I'll just
sex on the
rephrase it.
internet.
I'll rephrase it. Then a lady shouldn't be on OnlyFans with nude content.
Okay, well, some
I
guys
probably
don't
won't
think
be
that.
on a date with you. Yeah.
But you're
I'll
saying
be on
a
date
guy
with
should be
that
a
doesn't
provider.
care and will
But
provide.
You're saying a guy should be a provider. Why, if that's okay for you to say, why is it wrong for us to say
It's not wrong.
women shouldn't be
That's your opinion.
posting nude photographs of themselves
no,
on the internet for
I
$4 a
completely
month?
agree. Like, I don't agree, but like that's your opinion. I think that's
It's
totally
not just
fine.
my opinion.
Well, whatever it is.
Being traditional,
wouldn't-
there's like an agreed upon sense of what that is.
I know, but
Okay.
a lot of guys would
So,
pay
but-
for the first date.
And if they
s-
didn't, it would be cringe. That's what you said, right?
yeah.
Okay. Would there be a second date? if the guy
If I
didn't-
really like them, maybe, yeah.
What if it was a medium amount of like?
Medium? Maybe not. Probably not.
Okay. And what about you? Who should pay?
The man.
The man
of
should
course.
pay. Well, hold on. But why is it okay for you guys to say, well, men should do X,
Well, if they
but
didn't-
I can't say women shouldn't do X?
If I'm with a guy and he says he doesn't want me to do OnlyFans, then I completely would not do it. I'd be all done with it.
Okay. But my point is, I'm assuming you're not going to let a guy on the first date or before you even meet him call those kind of shots, are you?
Well, if I was single, I wouldn't be doing OnlyFans.
Okay, that's another conversation then. But so let me ask you guys a question then. So why should men pay? Like, make the actual argument why men should pay.
I feel like that's like their job. Like that's what's expected in today's society. Like it's not.
It's expected of what kind of men?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're traditional or not. I've been on dates with non-traditional guys that have paid.
Okay,
That's true.
if
That's
you-
just how
Sure,
they
they'll
were
still pay.
raised.
Well, but that seems to be based in some sort of tradition.
Yeah, but they don't
Of-
have to be fully like traditional.
But why should? So you're 19, correct?
Yes.
So, and are you dating guys kind of around your age, like 19, 20, 21, or are you dating older?
Yeah, a little older.
How-
Maybe,
how
like,
old?
Like 21 up.
Okay, do you think a 21-year-old's earning potential is substantially greater than yours?
No.
Probably still in college, maybe.
Yeah.
So why should a guy pay? Make the actual argument.
I wouldn't be on a date with someone that I don't want like a future with, and I want to like. Wait, okay, I don't know how to put it into words. Just let me think. Just go back to her. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off.
I just think guys should like provide.
Yeah, they don't want a traditional man. They want a provider. That's the only
provider.
sense
I'm a
of
gentleman to pay.
I suppose you
yeah,
could
I
be.
think
a
I wouldn't say a
provider.
gentleman either.
No, yeah, I
they
wouldn't
don't want
say
a
that.
gentleman.
If I'm
Sherry
on a
said she
date
likes
with a
assholes.
traditional
she wants
man
a
and
provider.
he doesn't want me doing OnlyFans, then he should be paying and showing me that like he wants to provide for me. Doesn't want me doing what I do to make a living. So what are you gonna do?
But
Provide
okay,
for me?
so-
And if
Okay,
you don't support it, then
Someone
don't do it
who's
to me.
financially affluent is not going to make a bad investment. Therefore, if he doesn't want to invest in a woman who is not going to be loyal to him, do you see the contradiction there?
I mean, it's not that big of an investment. It's like one date.
I know, but
like if you want to make a good impression and you really
I'm-
mess with the girl, then you'll pay for her.
You know
What
what
I-
would make a good first impression to the man is not to have your nude photographs online
Well,
for
that's
$5
why
a
they're
month.
they're not getting traditional men because if
That's-
they were that's the
yeah,
first, that's
exactly.
the first point. Any traditional man wouldn't even take them on a date to begin with,
Right,
right?
but
so
it's
that's
this-
why they want provider men.
This
and
is
there
what
are out
feminism.
there that
This
are
is
fine.
what
Crazy thing,
feminism
though,
is all
that
about.
They're expecting
is-
that traditional treatment,
I
even
think
though
they
they're
don't
not
even know
getting
what that. I
traditional
don't even
men.
think they know
Yeah.
what traditional means. Is actually
I agree. Yeah.
No, but I
That's
find
the
it.
problem.
I find it like
think we're trying to
you're
figure
both
it out.
modern women. You're both modern women, yet you're holding men to this gendered expectation that they be providers and pay for you on the first date when you're not even willing to reciprocate that sort of tradition back.
No, because you're looking at it from the wrong standpoint. They're not looking from because an aspect of a traditional man is a provider, right? What's the aspect of a sugar daddy? A provider. That's more what they're looking for is a permanent. Not. I'm not saying you guys want a sugar daddy. I'm sure you guys want to be in love and all that stuff.
Sure, you
But
can-
that's the point that they want. They want a provider because they are used to men giving them money for literally anything. So why would they not expect their partner to do the same?
That's a different thing. I don't look. I agree that a guy could be a provider and not be a traditional guy. Absolutely. But it's the expectation on the woman's part that, oh, well, if he doesn't pay for the first date, there's not going to be a second one. It's a man's job to pay for the first date. Well, it's a woman's job to not prostitute herself online.
Okay, well maybe if we
I
go on a
agree.
couple dates and and we eventually get in a relationship and you don't like that, then I'll stop. But I'm
Regardless,
not
that's
if you
still
can
not
provide.
a traditional man.
But I just
That's still
don't. I don't
too-
get the whole like I'm a modern woman. I'm free, like sexually free. I can do OnlyFans, but I also want to hold men to this very narrow standard of what their gender roles are.
It's not even a narrow standard what their gender roles are. They already have so many men who are throwing money at them for literally doing nothing. If they have a partner who comes into their life and is like, oh, I'm not paying for dinner, or I'm not doing that, she's gonna be like, well, I can just get my Discord boyfriend to do it then. I can just get this OnlyFans
Honestly,
dude to tip me some money.
yes.
That's what the problem is. They are so used to it that they can't you can't expect them to date somebody who wouldn't do what a million strangers are already doing for them.
You're right.
I think
That's
it's
the difference.
Short-term solutions, but long-term problems.
Yeah, I would also
Yeah.
agree with that, but that's a whole different
Yeah, exactly. No,
conversation. Because they're not getting traditional men. Like, that's, stop it there. Like,
Well, I'm not looking for men in general. I'm
neither
just,
am
I honestly, I might
but
be
you
a
want
feminist.
to, you
honestly,
can't wait
because-
to be pregnant
Wait,
and start
you
a
might be a
family
what?
and do all this.
Okay, not feminist, but like I don't really want to depend on a man to like provide for me.
Hold on,
But
no. You just said.
If
hold
he
on.
wanted me to
you
stop
literally
doing
do, though.
OnlyFans, then he should provide for me. Because why does he have to say if he's not providing for me?
Wait,
like
but
I can do what I
You
want
just
to
said
do.
you're not looking for a guy to. You don't want to.
I don't want to depend on a man. But it's
Expecting
like,
a man to pay for the
first.
expecting a man to pay for the first date is literally you depending on the man.
Okay,
to
but you're saying
provide.
that I can't do OnlyFans if he wants to pay for the first date. Then okay, then provide for me
No,
if you don't want me to do OnlyFans.
You
because
can,
that's my job.
but the expectation is a little, let's say, unfair.
Well, that's life.
I have something to say.
Yeah.
Some guys that do pay for meals, because they paid, they also expect sex. Because they paid for a meal. I'm not gonna lie. Some occasions I've paid for my own food just to like not deal with stuff. So as much as women expecting that, some men expect, oh, I paid for her meal. Now I want, like, you gotta have sex with me. Like, just some weird shit.
Okay, well, I think that
I see that,
expectation's
too.
weird, but I certainly agree with you that there's definitely men who think that way. I don't
Not
think-
all, not all.
Yeah, not all, but I think
Definitely
I think
a
that's a
lot
bad
do
way
that,
to
yeah.
look. It's just like it's weird to
it's
me
brownie
because it's
points
like
or
here's this gendered expectation on men, which in my view is sort of a traditional gender role, to be a provider, to pay for first dates. It's like, how are you gonna have that expectation on men, but not like be the most modern type of woman possible?
Because they are modern and they already have people who are willing to do it. So why wouldn't they?
It's just like, to me, it's like, well, if you acknowledge that you're a modern woman, just be like, yeah, I guess we could split the bill.
No, but they're going after modern men that just happen to be providers.
Right, but there are modern men who are also down to go 50-50.
They are, but
What's
they
wrong
are-
with dating them?
That's not what they
be.
want. That's not what they want. Or
Right, because feminism is a buffet. You get to pick and
I-
choose that
No,
which
it's different
benefits
if you're
you.
like broke and like whatever, but like
Right, but you wouldn't date a broke guy.
I have dated a lot of broke guys.
Okay, whatever.
But I think that I've learned from
they
that.
were all broke. You just got out of
Yeah,
high
I guess
school.
that's true. Yeah.
That's also a very big issue with this conversation right now.
But I know, but my,
are
like,
barely
but my
in the
point
real
is
world.
that like if he wants me to not do OnlyFans and wants to be traditional, then provide for me, so I won't do OnlyFans.
I think the issue is here, men. Men, I'm
I think
talking
that
to you.
boat has
If you
sailed.
don't want your girl to do
Yeah.
OnlyFans, don't date a girl who's on OnlyFans because it will always remain an issue.
Agreed. Any
Once
man who's
on
going to be
it,
willing to date someone who does OnlyFans is, like, in the long run, not going to be a good man.
Well, yeah, I mean, the reality
I don't look
is,
for anything
is
in
a
men.
man that's more willing to want to date a woman that does OnlyFans is less likely to want to be, he's going to be more likely to want to be like a 50-50
Yeah.
Yeah.
provider. Like,
He
he's
might
not,
be for the
he's not
first
going
date,
to want
but
to.
later in the future.
Yeah. That's a generalization. That's, you know.
You're probably going to find more
Averages.
luck in dating if you were to date a more modern man or someone who is like, hey, let's go 50-50. Because that's the type of man that's going to be willing to put up with the OnlyFans account. It's like finding a unicorn, to find some man who wants to be your provider, but is also like a leader as well. That's an extreme contradiction. So good luck finding the unicorn. It's probably not going to happen.
I mean, and also the thing is, a lot of men that do date you, if you have an OnlyFans, might be looking at you to be able to cash out themselves.
Yeah, exactly. They're the guys who are more likely going to be like, hey, if I pay for X many dates or one date, she's going to put out because she puts out for all these other
not
guys.
just that, but the courses that people like take sales and stuff, you know, like it's literally on like pimping women.
You also have to
Pushes
take
up.
into account that the kind of men that you're dating around our age range are probably not making as much money as you are, so it's a lot harder for them to
Definitely not.
Yeah.
be a provider.
Yeah.
Look, if also, like, if I can kind of make it slightly political, like if you're a woman and you consider yourself to have progressive political values, you're liberal, you're Democrat, it's crazy for you to want for a man to pay for the first date. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you have progressive social values, you're not really progressive. If in like society you want things to be progressive, but you want to go back to patriarchy in your relationship, that's crazy to me. You gotta be across the board with that shit. Oh, and then hold on. So just going around the table on this, who do you think should pay for the
thought we
first?
already did this.
We'll just reiterate it.
Oh.
I don't think everybody answered.
Men.
Most of the time, men.
Men.
The man.
Men.
Men.
Men if they asked.
Madison.
It is a
I was gonna say man.
Man.
Wait, and we'll go around the table again, but I'll just start with
Killer of Cereal donated $200. Is end goal for seeking dates to ultimately procreate in a traditional sense? Start a family, love, have children? Seeking a sugar daddy isn't traditional because it's a transactional relationship.
Definitely, but I don't know if that was to me. The only reason why I brought up sugar daddying is because the men they're going to find that are willing to provide for them in that sense are going to be closer to a sugar daddy than an actual partner.
I feel like
Perhaps.
there's like tons of guys that like will still pay for the first date and like will want to get to know us. I don't know, that knows
I'm
that
glad
we're
that's
on
working for you then.
OnlyFans.
I'm glad it's working out for you.
Doesn't have
then.
a problem with it.
I don't really even go on dates,
Yeah,
or
so
like
like,
I don't
even
have
know if you're
interest in
gonna
even going on dates or like finding a relationship with a man because I've already been like, before I even did OnlyFans, like it's never worked out. Like men are just pieces of shit most of the time, so I think that might be
do
a
you think it's
reason
the men that are
Erroneous.
being attracted towards you might be pieces of shit because of the things that you are.
Yeah.
I just
also
said
around?
before
Thank you,
I did
Killer of Cereal.
OnlyFans.
Well,
Appreciate
before
it.
OnlyFans,
You're
you were in
also
high
in high
school, so
school,
a lot
yeah.
of guys
Yeah.
are pieces of shit in
All
high school.
of like yeah. So you're
Disagree.
telling me that like
Disagree. That's a
That's
sexist.
like the douchest time. Besides
That
college
is
or
a
high school, that's like
sexist statement.
the 4 years for a guy to be a douche and it'd be okay.
What about women at that age?
A lot of them are bitches
Same
too.
thing.
Yeah, I was a bitch in high
Actually,
school.
yeah,
We
you're
all
telling me
have-
that
we need
immature
time to
men
grow
are
up
willing
and
to say
experience
whatever they want to get you to sleep with
Yeah.
them. Like they're
Wait,
willing
hold
to
on.
pay.
Hold
They're
on.
willing
I
to
was-
say
I was-
anything. They're
So okay, I was in the middle of a thing before the TTS came in. So okay, so those of you said you answered who should pay. Just starting with, we'll start with you and then you. You guys want to get married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does everybody
Maybe.
just who wants to get married one day?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I do.
show of
like,
hands.
if
No,
I
no, no,
actually
okay.
am in love with somebody.
So wait, starting with you, then we'll go around. Will you take your husband's last name?
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm going to add it.
You're gonna hyphenate.
Well, I'm not going to hyphenate. I'm going to make my last name my middle name and then his last name
Okay.
my last name.
I would probably consider doing something like that
Yeah.
too.
The only reason is because it's half of my identity is my last name. Like you can't even tell what race I am without my last name. So I
What?
feel like that's a very big part of me, and I don't want to lose it.
Honestly, if you had a cool last name though and it flowed with my first name, like I would not hyphenate.
Yeah, maybe it's also part of my boyfriend has like one of the most common last names in America. So going from my unique ass last name that like
Yeah.
tells you my race or my nationality or not ethnicity as soon as you hear it versus his, no.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
But I also don't plan on getting married.
okay?
I don't know if I want to get married, but I'd probably like add it on.
Add it. So hyphenate.
Actually, you know what? I'd probably just take his last name. Because if I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna assume it's gonna last.
Madison, what about you?
I would take his last name for sure.
All right, hold on. Let me read this really quick. Davon Jackson, men, please take this as a sign to stop simping for these demons. Thank you, Davon Jackson. Appreciate it. Okay, well, some of you, I suppose, are consistent a little bit on that front, but we have a lot of women who come on the show. You guys want this sort of traditional scenario with these guys. You want men to pay for first dates, but don't want to take their last name. So.
Ooh, bless you.
Charge up.
Okay, cool.